Okay, and so we're going to get Eric's perspective on
Yeah.
this whole thing with 9/11. And
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard all this stuff. I've watched Loose Change, obviously. And,
yeah, Loose Change, excellent.
An excellent film for Americans to watch, I think. Really raises some questions. And, there's, as somebody who's studied, architecture, I'm an engineering student at Seattle University.
Great.
I thought that, there's a lot of things that were fishy to me. I mean, obviously I'm no expert, but, lately I've been thinking about it a lot, and, it's fairly clear to me that the Bush administration was behind September 11th, the attacks. They may not have orchestrated it, but they certainly allowed it to happen in some degree, and the more evidence that comes forward, the more it seems like
pretty damning
that they were actually behind it and actively planning it. But the thing that bothers me, maybe even more than that, is the idea that George W. Bush may not have been sort of the top down from where all this was coming from. That maybe he was just sort of ancillary to this whole project.
Sure.
Because George W. Bush and most Republican presidents have been part of something called the Bohemian Grove.
Oh, absolutely.
Where they go to
Skull and Bones,
California. Yeah, and from what I know about the Bohemian Grove, they have some sort of yearly sacrificial.
Well, yeah,
ritual.
what they do is they actually do multiple mock human sacrifices, and it's actually openly admitted, even in their little, they give out a little brochure, I guess, like how you would do if you were seeing a play. There would be the program, exactly. Yeah. Well, they have an official program at the Bohemian Grove that I know at least the 1 year they do the mock human sacrifices, and they actually do a ritual where they're all dressed up in these what looks like Ku Klux Klan uniforms almost, and they do a ritual. The ritual is actually called the cremation of care, and many have speculated that what the cremation of care ritual is about is that basically they burn this effigy of a person, which some have speculated maybe there's real human sacrifice going on. I don't have any information to suggest that. However, I think it's important we realize, these people are our leaders. They're putting themselves out there as if they are conservative, Christians, people of good faith and whatnot, whatever, good morals. And a lot of people have said in their opinion that the cremation of care ritual is actually there to symbolize basically that care is their conscience, the group's conscience, and that basically the cremation of care is burning this effigy of a body, to symbolize them cleansing themselves of their human conscience. For some reason, some people have said maybe it's to allow them to carry forth with all of this war and killing and the stuff that really is hurting so many people, the policies.
Yeah, from what I've heard, and I recently finished a short book. I'm trying to think what the author's name. Gavin Palmer, I think, was the author of this book, and he wrote a book about a lot of these sort of secret rituals that go on in some of these secret societies in America. And Bohemian Grove was in there, and he actually has eyewitness testimony from this ritual that says that they actually have sacrificed living people at this.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
Yeah, it's highly disturbing. And also, one thing that I have studied a lot, and I feel sort of confident talking about it in some respects, is the Bohemian Illuminati. And this ritual in Bohemian Grove is kind of a continuation of rituals that happened during the Middle Ages and with the Knights Templar and that sort of thing. So that maybe there's sort of a common thread here.
Well, yeah, a lot of researchers that have tried to trace back through history the origins of these kind of organizations or groups, they've found common threads that go back into such groups as like the Venetian Black Nobility, the Knights Templars, the Rosicrucians, and basically that although I don't have the literal group that Bohemian Grove specifically originated from, we have been able to surmise that, as an example, the Bilderberg group the Bilderberg group is literally the modern day Venetian black nobility, which is, a pretty infamous secret society, whatever, group. But yeah, I mean, when you have all these guys who are our presidents, our leaders, and they're instituting global policy, yet they think that it's perfectly acceptable off on, at the end of the summer to go and do mock human or possibly real human sacrifices, as well as a ritual about burning off their conscience. I mean, it leaves one to wonder how much of this stuff with these conspiracies about, say, the fact that they put poisonous fluoride in our water supply, or that they push deadly vaccines on people, because of fake diseases that are probably not even a threat, like this past fall's H1N1. It leaves you to wonder, with the cremation of care ritual being the centerpiece of this occult working that they're doing, for me, it makes me wonder, are they instituting a policy of population reduction?
Yeah. No, I would believe it, because there's a lot of evidence that I've seen that they sort of search normal populations, like some urban areas usually, for citizens that they think have like extraordinary values, or like can be part of their organization.
Right.
And then they give them like a lot of money to go like into higher education and things like that, so that they can get to places like Yale and
Princeton, Yale,
join
Harvard.
things like the Skull and Bones, which then paves their way into politics, so that when these population reductions happen, they'll be able, the Truman Scholarship Program, for example, I've heard as being an example of something that, is sort of a selective way of finding people that, sort of meet their expectations, and then they give these people a lot of money to go into politics or so-called public service.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of some of the others. The Cecil Rhodes Scholarship.
Oh yeah, and then you have all the roundtable groups, Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Club of Rome.
Yeah. The Sullivan Leadership Board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got just a few more minutes here. Are you at all aware of, let's see, as an example, we're seeing a lot of these chemtrails in the air. There's been a lot of different supposed explanations for this. One is they say they're doing it to fight global warming, except that, if you're familiar, there was ClimateGate a few months ago, where basically hackers broke in and stole the records.
Pretty much a hoax.
Yeah, that proved it basically showed that global warming, the whole science that they have behind it, is literally built upon them falsifying their records and deleting any information that goes against what they're trying to institute. And that really that the whole thing is not only about population reduction, which I have a video of Bill Gates actually admitting that it's all about CO2. Basically, he said CO2 numbers equal how many people and how much services. And he said what we want to do is bring CO2 levels down to as close to zero as we can. So basically, he in a
sort of implied,
right, in a veiled way, he basically openly said we need to kill a lot of people in some way. And anyway, people say with these chemtrails that it's about global warming, or that it's, some people have actually provided some reasonable evidence that it is in order to basically make the soil unable to grow anything other than Monsanto genetically modified crops, which have been shown to cause cancer in lab rats.
Yeah, and the only explanation I can come up with, I mean, if the science behind global warming has been falsified, and the people who want, why then would there want to be population reduction? Why would you want to be less people? And there's two explanations for that. One is they want the Earth to themselves as people, which is sort of understandable. And the second explanation, the one that I sort of lean towards, is that a lot of this is being facilitated by non-human agents. And I don't know if you're familiar with the work of David Icke.
David Icke, I'm actually a big fan of his. I'm looking at trying to maybe get to interview him for my show as well.
He's definitely got some interesting things to say.
I just picked up his new book, Human Race, Get Off Your Knees is the name of his new book.
Yeah.
The Lion Sleeps No More. I haven't really been able to delve into it too deeply, but I highly recommend it. He's a great author trying to sort all this out.
Yeah.
But, well, great. It's been really good talking to you guys,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
glad to get some other perspectives on this.
Yeah,
so,
that's nice to meet you. My name's Eric Gordon, by the way. Eric Gordon, sorry.
Eric Gordon.
Gordon, G-O-R-D-O-N.
Eric Gordon.
And this is my friend Doug Dean.
Doug Dean. Okay, great. Well, it's so good to talk to you guys, and this is Jess Allen for N.W.O Resistance TV, and thanks for watching.